down. I know why. Good thing she was in the military.
I'm reading the book here and you enjoy the information from it, but it's about habits. We have a lot more habits than we realize. And more often we do something, then our brain shuts down. It will keep on a little bit so it verifies what we're doing. Then it actually shuts down and we go into our habit. Yeah. And then at the end it comes back up.
Well, that one makes sense.
But the whole things about creating new habits, you've got cues, responses, and rewards.
What's up?
What they found is that the cue and the reward need to stay the same as the routine. If you change the routine, you can create a new habit.
You got that, Phil?
Do what?
What's that talk about?
I wasn't.
The psychology of training.
It's about habits and creating new habits. I mean, generally habit happens when there's a cue, there's a routine, and there's a reward.
Right.
Okay. And once it becomes a habit, whenever there's the cue, everything else is on automatic.
Right. They don't have to think about it.
But the reward is generally there's a cue that triggers the habit, and there's a reward, which is why
reinforces it.
Yeah, which is why you do that.
Right.
So if you want to change, create a new habit, basically change an existing habit, the cue and the reward stay the same and you change the routine. You give them a new routine.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say change the reward, which makes it forced to have a new habit.
Well, but see...
If it's reward driven.
Right, but whenever you get into a stressful situation or anything else, the old habit will override the new.
Well, we know that.
So the reason they do it is for the reward. And so if you're able to keep the reward the same, that sense of satisfaction of accomplishing something or whatever, and you take the cue that triggers site sequence and give it a different routine, happens a whole lot quicker.
I was thinking for your Greensville Day mental.
Right.
It's not the players as much as it is the mentality that's around them. I think that's the way it is for a lot of programs.
We're making a lot of strides in that area too.
Tony Dungy did. That's his whole coaching thing. Is that his goal was to get each player, I mean, these pro football players have grown up with all these cues. When you see this happen, when you see the quarterback do this, when you see this, do this, do that, do that.
Right.
Well, but the way most people teach it, the players actually slow down because they've got too many decisions. So what Tony worked on changing was the routine. The cues he left the same. So you put them in a sequence rather than in a line. So look here first.
It's like a flow chart.
Yeah. Well, then the players' reaction times are sped up because now they aren't having to make decisions. They're just
following the matrix.
Yeah.
The decision's already been made.
It's been made and it's been trained.
So give me an example of that in terms of volleyball. Like if you were thinking of, the way we've always done something, training, and you're going to change the routine, what would it be?
Well, some of it may be, how you train. For example, more rapid pace, less time for pity parties afterwards.
Right.
Train to think about what they want to do the next time rather than think about the mistake that they made.
Right.
So the cue is going to be the same. They made a mistake.
Right.
Okay. the routine is what you're going to want to change, and that's what do they do in response to the cue.
The process, I got you.
And,
So, I guess when you said it, the first thing that came to my mind, like listening to that, was, so if they're doing something mechanically incorrect and they've developed a bad habit in their mechanic,
yeah,
but that's not.
Well,
that's not the only thing, but I mean that could be one example, right?
Right, and see,
So,
and that's why we say most of the time when a player's, you see a player and they've got 3 or 4 things wrong.
Right. Fix one at a time.
Pick the most important one and fix it, and fix one at a time.
Right.
And that's an application of. See, a lot of the stuff that people have been doing, we've been doing it, and it's the right thing to do. We just haven't understood why it was the right thing to do.
Right.
The other thing with this habit stuff that's important is when it gets under stress,
they're going to revert back.
They revert back because they don't have a belief system. They don't believe that it'll work.
Right. Yeah.
And so when they get into that stressful situation, they'll go back to doing what they know.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, and part of that is
and so
that's subconscious, don't you think? Part of it is just, it's like, okay, now we're under so much stress, and now when we don't have the time to process, our natural reaction is to do what we've always done, right?
Right.
You know,
and so once you, so the point is you can do all this and under stress and stuff until something happens to cause them to leave the system. And,
the other thing
and then in a team sport, it has to go beyond that to where the whole team
buys in.
And then it's funny. This one of the pro football players who's, he was a really good talent. And he said, look, most pro football teams are not teams. They're just guys. Until they become a true team, then they not only believe in themselves and in their system, but in each other, then they're always something's going to fall apart. Right. And with a football team, with a volleyball team, it's very difficult because all it takes is one person to have a mental lapse, and it messes up the whole thing. And so until you get to where you trust each other and trust the system and stuff like that, it's difficult to play as a team 100% of the time. That's your goal. Right.
Well, it's difficult to do it at all. Much 100%. Like, the other thing that came to mind is 5 wrong. That's 3 definitions. That's you got 3 versus 4 with 2. So, just what you were saying, the routine needs to change, the process has to change, or you're going to keep getting the same result.
Well, it's like the
nice touch.
It's like the a good example.
The ones in yellow.
That whole AA stuff. But see, why? And for a while, researchers couldn't figure out why AA worked. There wasn't the scientific research that worked. And